as ELT. Dr. Kumar is a key facilitator in the use of ICT with the expertise in communication. He has been teaching English language and contemporary literary theories for 15 years now. And he's also working as an associate professor at Amity University, Noida, India. He has published 13 books so far, also published 30 research papers in journals of international repute. He's the chief editor and publisher of online quarterly journal. Dr. Kumar will be speaking on innovative approaches of teaching during pandemic India. He will focus on the use of ICT tools in interactive classes, and I think he will come up with some tools that could make a particular classroom interactive. Now, I'd like to invite Dr. Kumar for the presentation. Dr. Kumar.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pandey. Thank you so much for your kind words. I wish to extend my heartiest congratulations to NELTA for organizing this wonderful online conference. I also extend my heartiest thanks to Dr. Devan, Dr. Roy, and all the office bearers of NELTA. As in the opening remarks, I was just listening to Dr. Roy, and he was mentioning how we have been trained and without any training to take the classes during this pandemic. And Dr. Das has mentioned that I'm going to tell you some innovative tool which you can use in the classroom. But before that, I want to mention few harsh realities, and I wish to showcase the real world. I agree that this pandemic has given us unprecedented opportunities, but for a very few. I feel you all can think that I'm starting my speech with a very pessimistic approach, but we need to accept the reality by which we can think how to do effectively with the available resources. And this unprecedented opportunity is for very few. For those who have access and the money to afford the luxury of internet. While it may seem like almost everyone has internet access, the reality is quite harsh and the opposite. According to Statista 2020, almost 4.57 billion people were active internet users as of July 2020, encompassing, please make note of this percentage which I'm going to mention, encompassing 59% of the global population. China, India, and the United States rank ahead all other countries in terms of internet users. By now, a world without the internet is unimaginable. Connecting billions of people worldwide, the internet is a core pillar of the modern information society. The global online penetration rate is 59%, with Northern Europe ranking first with a 95% internet penetration rate among the population. The countries with the highest internet penetration rate worldwide are the UAE, Denmark, and the South Korea. At the opposite end of a spectrum, see, this is what I just want to highlight, this opposite spectrum, is North Korea with virtually no online usage penetration among the general population, ranking last worldwide. And this is the data, the research of Statista 2020. Europe was ranked second with almost 705 million internet users. I wish to mention the real picture of our country. According to the 2017 and 18 National Sample Survey Report on Education, only 24% of...
sorry, quick check, Shravan.
Yeah.
Are you sharing your PowerPoint presentation?
No, I'm not using any PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Simply, I'll be sharing my screen for 1 or 2 polls at the end.
Thank you.
Yep. So that survey report says that 24% of Indian households have an internet facility. By not providing, my question is, by not providing these unprecedented opportunities to those 76% of households, aren't we creating inequality in something as fundamental as education? This is the question. And I think this question encouraged all the teachers who have been trained themselves to train these ICT enabled classes nowadays during this pandemic. I believe you all will agree with this fact that up to 70% teachers assign homework that requires the use of internet. About 65% of students use the internet to complete homework, which includes doing research, submitting assignments, and emailing teachers. While a percentage of 24% is too less in itself, it still excludes those with a poor connection who miss on content being taught. I also wish to draw your attention that in the hustle and clamor of a classroom, achieving silence and attention for any teacher is nothing less than an achievement for a teacher. But the same troublesome seems too simple, very simple in remote classes. Too simple, but too good to be true. This is what our topic is. How we need to be innovative by which we can involve each and every student in our classroom in a very interactive way. I would like to reiterate our lovable former president, late Dr. Kalam, that educationists should build capacities of the spirit of inquiry, creativity, entrepreneurial and moral leadership among the students and become their role model. And I'm very much sure that all the teachers in world, they did the wonderful job. But the thing is that with muted mics and turned off cameras, the remote classes persist in complete silence. And this silence is very different from the silence of keen observant students, the silence of the student engrossed in the session. I also wish to mention that I think the thing which I'm going to share, it's not very, new to you all, but you will agree that schools offer a structured learning environment which cannot be achieved when students are confined to their homes. This unsettles their usual learning patterns, often leaving them weary and confused. Research has also shown that students do not feel motivated to complete their tasks when they are not surrounded by their peers. This is especially true those below the age of 10, as keeping them engaged often requires one-on-one contact. Please keep in mind that learning while doing being the difference in online and the real-time classroom, which is one of the important aspects of learning and is missing in remote classes. This is what we are going to learn. I'll be sharing few ICT tools, interactive tools, due to which you can make your classroom very interactive. But before that, I also wish to mention that, these remote teaching can make graduates who can excel in theoretical knowledge, but lack of face-to-face communication. And I believe language is above all a kind of entire scenario is based on the emotions. So the lack of face-to-face communication amongst the peers between students and teachers will affect their communication skills, and which is the utmost, or you can say a dire need of today's professionals, because their communication skills, if this contact is going to affect their communication skills, their PRs, ability of being a good team leader, because they are simply talking to a screen to whom they are going to train, to whom they are going to lead, and a good team member also. So I recall a quote of Albert Einstein, which reads, "Education is not learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think." So I simply wish to mention that we should accept that we cannot fight with any natural calamities, but we should adopt the best possible ways with available resources. So the very first thing in today's scenario I wish to mention, I wish to request all the teaching fraternity that please change your role from teachers to facilitators. We need to think, we need to enact as a facilitator during these remote classes. And we all can use many online tools to maintain the interactive ways of learning, as I've already told you. So the very first tool which I wish to mention is flipgrid.com. You all can use this wonderful device, wonderful tool. And this flipgrid.com allows teachers to create grids to facilitate video discussions. It also creates opportunities for students to practice their speaking skills with a larger group than just their class. Students can post their videos to get practice with the vocabulary they are learning. And instead of being limited to practicing with the people in their physical classroom, they can engage and build their skills with other students around the world studying the same language or have conversation with native speakers of the language. So Flipgrid can be a catch-up solution for students, those who are absent in the class. And teacher can create a topic for work completed in class. And if a student is absent during a given class period, one of their peers can post a quick video about what assignments were completed in a class, so the absent student can quickly learn about what they have missed. Now, I'll give you a real example. I was introducing the one tool that is flipgrid.com, and I was talking about its significance. But just imagine, I didn't interact with anyone. So do you think this kind of interaction, this kind of conversation with the student is going to help us? Not at all. So just to showcase how we can help our students with the interactive way, although the tool which I've told you is Flipgrid, and it's very, very interactive when we use, and I don't have that much time to exhibit the qualities and the functionalities of that tool, but let me share my screen where I wish to have an interaction with you all. Just give me a minute. Can anyone please help me?
Yes, we can see the screen. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I would like to request all the participants to go to www.menti.com and use the code 5334944. And I request, I can see there are more than 500 participants. So at least I want 100 responses. And the simple question is the challenges you face during the pandemic. And one more technique which we should use in our classroom, like we should go with the cold calls. Like we know in our classroom 60 students, and we know the name of our students. So let's see, I can say just to check whether the person is present or he's active in the class or not, let's say I'm going to take the name, Dr. Moti Kala, and if the person does not reply, it says that that person is not attentive enough. So you can ask him or her to be very, very attentive during your classes, and you can talk even after the class over the phone or through WhatsApp message and anything, any possible devices which you can do that. And see, I believe most of you are using these tools, the mentimeter.com. Those who are using, just imagine why you are representing something, you are saying something, and meanwhile your screen is so dynamic. You can see the movement on the screen. It allures the student and it attracts the students, and it compels the students to listen to us, to listen the teacher, the facilitator. Fine. So, and we can use this particular concept even in the teaching. It is not only a survey or it is not only a poll. What we can do, we can talk to our students with in terms of 1 or 2 words. Like somebody has written, the biggest challenge which you're facing is hectic lifestyle. But we can request them or we can suggest them, see, you should try to keep your proper daily routine. Don't try to change it, because after 2 or 3 months, maybe 4 months, definitely we are going to enter once again into physical world, and then it will be very, very difficult to unlearn these practices.
Excuse me, Dr. Kumar.
Yes.
Could you please conclude in 5 minutes?
Okay. Sure. So just let me stop my screen sharing, and then let me share a few more tools. So one tool is Flipgrid, another tool is menti.com, and another tool is Kahoot. Kahoot is a game-based learning platform which we use to review the students' knowledge. For formative assessment, we can usually use it, and it's a very wonderful tool to use during our online classes. And another wonderful tool which I use in my class is quizzes. You all can note it down, quizzes, Quizzizz.com, quizzes, and it allows you to conduct the student-based formative assessment. And it's a fun and engaging way for all the students. And above all, in this is,
sorry for interruption, please go ahead.
Somebody say something?
Not it. Please go ahead.
Okay. And the wonderful thing of this quizzes is the reports. At the end, you get a detailed class level report by which you can analyze and you can talk to your students one by one. And the one more last thing, because the moderator is giving me 2 or 3 more minutes, just to mention that you all know the Google Forms and the MS Forms. And these 2 forms we can use to conduct the quizzes. And due to its cross-platform compatibility, ranging from desktop to smartphones, and even its design, its templates, is very responsive. So it means with the help of checkboxes, with the help of multiple choice questions, with the help of text fields, it is very easy to use by the participants. And it's very user friendly. And the last tool, which I just want to mention, is Nearpod. Nearpod is all-in-one solution for the synchronized use of iPads in the classroom. And we can use this Nearpod for the to improve the writing. It can be more engaging through the, it's a kind of interactive multimedia presentations. And you can also create the presentations which can contain quiz, polls, videos, images, drawing boards, and web content, and so on. Many other things you can do in the Nearpod tool. So I think I could tell you 4 or 5 very interactive tools which I'm using, and many friends are using. Are using those tools. So as due to scarcity of time, I can't explain the functionalities as well as, I can't tell you too many tools, but you can Google it. But make sure you should use the tool which is very much compatible with your strategies. And above all, my humble request once again to all the teachers to enact as facilitator and the guide in these online and remote classes. Thank you. Thank you for your patient listening. And if there is any question, you can write in the chat box.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your insights of ICT tools in the interactive classroom, Dr. Sarvan Kumar. And you have come up with the ideas how the use of internet is tremendously increasing in the academia, and the role you talked about, the role of teacher, role of students, how students use internet in the classrooms to complete their homeworks, and how teachers use internet to teach their lessons. That's very, very brilliant. And thank you very much for your brilliant ideas once again.